We all carry things people never see. The kind of wounds that don't leave scars on our skin, but they sure know how to sit heavy on the heart. Some of us learn to smile through it, work through it, pray through it, but that weight, oh, it's real. And sometimes it takes someone who understands that invisible load to help us finally set it down. Hello and welcome to the Main Health Show. My name is Stephanie Anderson. Today's guest is one of those rare souls who doesn't just talk about healing. She walks it out with a transparency that'll stop you in mid-sip of your coffee. Today's guest is Jasmine Johnson, who is a licensed trauma therapist, certified clinical trauma professional, and faith-based strategist with over a decade of experience serving youth and families across education and behavioral health systems. As founder of the Way Solution Group, she specializes in delivering cultural responsive, trauma-informed training and consulting to community organizations, schools, and public agencies nationwide. The author of Renewed Me, a transformational healing journey, a tool to guide individuals towards wholeness, renewal, and restoration. Her mission is to equip professionals to disrupt generational patterns by transforming pain into purpose, building legacy from resilience. I am so excited to have her here today. Welcome, Jasmine, to the Main Health Show.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
It is such a pleasure to have you here, and I knew that your book and your journey, your story would be something that would benefit the audience. So thank you for coming today. I want to ask you a few questions. We'll start. Mention your book, Renewed Me. In the intro, I want to ask what inspired you to write that book and what type of journey or result would you like for the people, the readers who are actually reading that?
So Renewed Me, it was a journey in myself. It's called a transformational healer journey. The title means renewed me. The M stands for mind, and the E stands for emotions, which really represent us. And as I was beginning to go through my own personal healing, right?
Yes.
Not only am I a professional, but I experienced my own personal healing. And so with my years of clinical work as well as my personal journey, I began to see that there was gaps. I saw people that were spiritually committed, but yet they were lacking or exhausted mentally and emotionally. And so I realized that a tool was needed. This was an area that was needed. Not only that, I began to see that people believed that faith was all that they needed. But it was faith and emotional and mental wellness that was needed in order for them to thrive. And I wanted to present it from a holistic lens, not one just as I'm talking to you because I'm the expert, but one that I'm talking to you on your level. And I believe that transparency is one of the greatest teachers. And so the purpose was to ultimately restore the mind and the emotions and ultimately help people to find out who they are. When you know who you are, you'll move totally different. And so I want readers to experience not just information, but transformation.
I love that. And the fact that, there are a lot of professionals out there who teach, help, and even can transform, but they really have not experienced anything but what they have, read or by theory or by helping other people. But in your book, you share you're very transparent, and
Yes,
you
ma'am.
share, if you want to share like just a little snippet of your journey with the audience, just a little
Yes.
snippet.
A little snippet would be that a week before I went and got my trauma certification, I experienced my own trauma. The coincidence of that, right? I don't think that was orchestrated, but I believe that it was going to be useful.
Yes.
Right? I didn't know, but I can say that through my own experiences, I have a deeper understanding, right? And I now know the work because I did it myself.
Yes.
It's one thing for you to know it by book knowledge, but I've worked it, I've walked it myself. And so now I have a passion even the more to help another person out. And so that's what I would begin to say. Healing is a journey. Everyone has their own journey that they have to go through, right? It's not a destination, but it's a lifestyle. And so we're all continuously going through healing so that we can be whole.
Yes, I love that. And I think it holds a lot of power.
Yeah.
That when you're helping people, that people looking at you wouldn't think you went through anything. But as you share that with people, then they can see there's healing on the other side of this. So I think you stand as a testament too, to show people, regardless of what you go through, there can be healing on the other side. And like you said, you do the work and you've done the work.
Yes.
So talk about your work. Your work blends biblical truth with therapeutic insight. How does this dual approach that you offer help people break cycles and renew their mind and emotions in a practical way?
Right. So I say that healing is very holistic. Your mind, your body, and your spirit. All of it has to come into alignment. You need every aspect. If one is lacking, you're going to see a deficiency in the others. And so I say that healing is holistic, but not only that, I also describe it as this, that scripture is what we use to be the truth. It's the absolute truth, while therapy gives us the language and the tools. I also say that faith is the power and therapy is the tool. And the two together is a power tool. So whenever you begin to merge the two together, it's not a one or the other, it's a and both, right? Where we have to understand that there is a duality in it. And in that, guess what we have? We begin to identify the root issues. I say, what is it when you have a tree? A lot of us are looking at behavioral modification, which are branches. And if you cut off a branch, if you don't do anything else, another one will grow back. And we wonder, why am I going through these cycles, right? But if you get to the root of an issue, it has no ability to come back. And I want people to begin to focus on the root of a thing, which will exacerbate the whole thing, right? And not only that, I also want to be able to break those cycles that will address the belief systems that we have. This will help people to understand, I believe this way differently through whatever has happened in my life, through whatever upbringing, environments. Those things have impact on us, whether we pay attention to it or not. But ultimately, when we bridge the two, this makes it where we're sustainably able to make that change.
I love the metaphor of the tree. I love the way you weave that because it's so true. And also to kind of go back a little bit when you talk about faith, the word tells us faith without works
is dead. Yes, it is.
It's dead. And being a product of the church, being a woman of God, and knowing that there sometimes was a stigma from the church about seeking help outside the church. So I think it's very important that you and others that are faith-based and educated to help, that duality is definitely needed because we have to get out that mindset that therapy or talking to people is a bad thing. So I love the fact that you do bring that approach because the word says it. Faith without works is dead. And you have to have the faith that you can get past this, but you also have to do the work, but it has to be done correctly.
It does. Death and life is also in the power of our tongue.
Yes.
And so we have to be mindful that us lacking the ability to even speak about a thing gives it permission to continue to torment us, continues to keep the cycles. And so when we begin to speak about it, going through the process and healing in the right atmospheres, you begin to cause it to lose power and grip over your life.
I love that. You know, someone told me recently, and I had to kind of rethink because you're right. We have to worry, but we have to be careful of what we say, how we say it.
Yeah.
That even I know people who are very conscious of their money flow, and it's just perpetually worrying about being broke. that's what you're going to end up, because that's all you're thinking about is being broke. But if you change that narrative to talk about prosperity
That's
and
it.
having, so it is a mind thing. It is how we think. It is how we believe, and it's our spiritual. I love you saying that. Many people feel stuck, Jasmine, or overwhelmed in their healing.
Mhm.
What is one simple tool or rhythm from the book they can start practicing today to experience renewal? Kind of share a little bit more about the book.
So one of the things that I say you have to be a thought inspector.
Okay.
And the reason I say a thought inspector is one of the simplest tools that you will need to do is just begin to pause,
Okay.
right? And examine your thoughts.
Mm.
Is this truth? Is this based off of truth?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it based off of trauma? Is this based off of pain?
Yeah.
Or is this based off of truth? Like fear or fact? Like, where did it even come from?
Check
What
the
is it
spirits by
rooted
the
in?
spirit.
Right, very much so. And I say there's four sources in which these thoughts can come from,
Okay.
right? They can come from God, right? And that think on the things that are true, noble, right, just, right?
Yes.
And then there's some that just come out of nowhere,
Yeah.
right? That could be Satan or
Yeah.
the inner me,
Uh-huh.
right? And so the reason I say they just pop up out of nowhere. The scripture tells us to cast down vain imaginations. There's a reason it tells us to cast it down, because they're going to pop up.
Yes.
I think it's
Exactly.
telling us what's going to happen. And then the other is what's coming from me, right? That's my experiences, my trauma, my perceptions, anything that I've seen, I'm going to interpret through that way and through that lens. And then the final one is what they say, don't make decisions if you're hungry, if you're emotional, or you're sleepy, right? Yeah, right. Same thing when we're dealing with our emotions and we are challenging our thoughts. We have to see, well, if I'm tired, things are going to change. I'm not going to be myself. I'm not showing up as Jasmine, right? And so those four areas, you have to check your thoughts. And when you begin to do that, then you want to inspect it. I now know the source, right? And after I inspect it, then I have to detect, is this truth or fear? Is this factual or is it not, right? And based off of that, I'm either going to accept it or I'm going to reject it. And if I'm rejecting it, then I want to replace it with truth.
Yes.
I want to be able to speak what is actually truth. That also keeps us grounded, right? And I say that we want to just give ourselves doses. Sometimes people are stuck because they're trying to avoid reality, right? When you're going through a grief or you're going through loss, we're trying to escape reality. But I say one thing that you can do is that you can just give doses of reality. That's
incrementally.
Incrementally, right?
Yeah.
Who said that you got to take it all at the same?
Yeah.
Like just a spoonful of sugar, make the medicine go down.
That's right. I love that.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's a coping mechanism for some.
Yeah.
Just to don't think about it, don't act on it, or whatever it is. It's different things, but not realizing that action, doing something. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to eat the whole elephant at once.
No.
Just take it in pieces.
Yeah. And you determine the piece, that size of the piece, right?
Yes.
A lot of times we feel like, I tell people all the time, we have a plate, right? But when we think about it, we're thinking about it in a balancing scale. I think of it as a well-balanced plate. But you may be a vegan. Maybe you don't have meat on there. You determine what's on your plate, right? You determine what goes in your mouth. You know what is palatable for you. And that's okay. But take it at your own pace.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Oh, you're saying some good stuff. I love that. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about your book, but I want to ask, what misconceptions about trauma and Christian healing do you hope this book helps correct, especially for those people who have been taught just pray it away? We know the power of prayer. We believe in the power of prayer, but there are some cases in which you need some assistance through that process. What do you say?
Well, I would first say that faith does not cancel the need for healing work. Like you said it before, you said faith without works is dead, right? There's a part that we carry that we're called to do, right? The other part is that you got to know, just because you went through your trauma, that doesn't mean that you lack faith. Just because you need assistance outside of the church, right? Or even outside of just praying, because my body is telling me what's really happening is trauma is saying that your mind and your emotions are overwhelmed. You've experienced a distressing thing. And sometimes we need help. God says 2 is better than 1. right?
Yes.
Because you can't get yourself out of a pit.
That's right.
Right? And sometimes you don't even know that you're in the pit.
Mm-hmm.
You need somebody to say, it's a little dark in here. You're not operating as yourself. And I want to help you in that. And so I need you to also know that healing is a form of stewardship.
Okay.
I don't know if you people ever saw it that way.
Explain that. I like the way it sounds, but explain that.
So healing is a part of stewardship. It doesn't mean that you're weak, but it means that you're in charge of cultivating. That means that if I know I have a problem, it's my responsibility to reach out, to seek out, to get what I need. A lot of times people say, I have all this childhood trauma, but you're not a child anymore. Now you have the responsibility, you have access to take advantage of resources that are there for you. It's almost like you're telling God, this is the only way you're going to heal me. This is the only way. We're limiting God.
We can't limit
We
him.
have to take the lid off, take the cap off of ourselves, but also off of God too.
Oh my goodness. And we have not because we ask not. There are people walking around injured that can be delivered, healed, or helped.
Yes.
By just asking. And a lot of times I know in our community, a lot of times most were raised with what goes on in our house stays in our house.
But that's generational trauma. That is a language of trauma being passed down.
It does.
Whether we see it or not. I want to pass down healing. Let healing be the new pattern and the new legacy that we pass on.
Yes. I love
healing
that.
needs to be the portion, right?
So we've talked about the book, but I want to kind of get a little bit more understanding. And in your book, you describe it's not just a resource, but you call it a movement, and I like that. What impact do you hope it has on families, on churches, and communities moving forward?
So I want to be able to normalize emotional and mental well-being.
Yes.
Like, it's normal to have these type of conversations. I also want to equip families that they will begin to have conversation, healthy conversations, no longer hiding in shame, but we're being able to bring things into the light. Why? Because it loses its power and its grip, right? And then the other thing is I want churches to be able to respond from a place of wisdom and compassion. Like, we have to be understanding, right? And so the other part is in us doing that, it's going to help us to build and raise up leaders that are whole and not just gifted. We don't want you for what you can do, but we are concerned about you being whole so that you can thrive. He says, I wish above all that you would prosper, even as your soul would prosper. Well, if we are Christ-like, then we should also want that for each other and as a community, as in a collective way.
And I like the way you put that, because I think that's something that the church has missed. The opportunity to take advantage, because there are a lot of gifted Christians, Holy Ghost filled. I mean, spiritual beings who...
They can put on the mask. They can do all the things.
Yeah, but then there are some that are even prepared or have experience like you that can be a healing balm to the church community, because I still think there is a stigma in the body of Christ for seeking outside the church walls for help. So I'm so thankful that you provide that opportunity. So how do you promote that to churches quickly? Because we're going to have to, I'm sure it's going to be a lot of people who are going to want your contact information. We'll have to give that too. But how do you promote that to churches, or what do you do?
Well, asking what is the needs within our community, right? What does that need look like? And to help to build a framework to be able to house, to equip, to educate, and to empower. That's how I present it. My biggest slogan is that healed people heal people. And so I'm all about, people are always talking about cycle breakers, right? But we can't break everything.
No.
So there has to be cycle builders. And when healed people heal people, guess what? We're building new legacy for the next person to bridge across. And so that's what we're supposed to do. How are you equipping the next? The person that's coming behind you, or are you thinking only of yourself?
That's some powerful stuff.
Yeah.
I know, Jasmine, we talked about your book, and I love the fact that you have a companion book along with it. So those who really want to do the work are able not to just read the book, but also do the work through her companion book. What about someone who, after hearing your message and what we've shared today, want to contact you? what information do you have so they can do that?
So you can follow me on my social platform, The Jasmine Joy. I'm on IG, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn. And so you can find me there. I'm very engaging and I love people
Yes.
ultimately. And I love seeing people healed and whole so
Yes.
that they can walk in the fullness that they're supposed to.
Yes. And I attested that she genuinely has a heart to heal, to help, and I just love it. So that's it for this segment, but we're going to be back in a minute or two to do our follow-up segment of Main Health. See you in a minute. Hi, I'm Stephanie Anderson, the Alopecia Advocate, speaker, author, and host of The Main Health Show. If you're living with alopecia, struggling with self-image, or simply yearning to feel seen, heard, and whole again, I wrote this book just for you. My newest book, 52-Week Daily Devotionals and Alopecia Affirmations, Cultivate Empowerment and Self-Love Every Day of the Year, is a transformational guide to help you reclaim your confidence, restore your faith, and rediscover your beauty inside and out. Each day delivers a heartfelt devotional rooted in spiritual truth, paired with a daily affirmation designed to uplift your spirit, challenge negative beliefs, and replace them with radical love for you. This isn't just a book. It's a healing companion, a daily practice, a declaration that you matter. Your reflection matters. Your journey matters. Get ready to walk in your worth, speak your life into your reflection, and start each day with divine confidence. It's time to love who you see in the mirror every single day. You're not alone in this journey. And this book, 52-Week Daily Devotionals and Alopecia Affirmations, is your daily reminder that healing is possible and joy is your birthright. Let's walk in that together. And welcome back to the Main Health Show. This is a segment that we kind of started something new. As I am the alopecia advocate, I want to bring more awareness to alopecia. So my guests now on the Main Health Show answer a question, the main question rooted in awareness. So Jasmine, I want to ask you, how can society better support individuals living with hair loss, and what role do you think your profession plays in changing perception surrounding alopecia?
That is a wonderful question. I would say that we need to lead with empathy and not assumption. People that are dealing with hair loss, they're also dealing with emotional well-being, confidence, identity. I know NDRE said I am not my hair, but we have a lot of connections to our hair, myself included. And so I would say that we have to also understand that my role is to begin to address the shame narratives that are connected to it, as well as to help to navigate through what does that internal dialogue sound like. And then also helping people to understand that you can reclaim your worth outside of your appearance, right? You are not what has happened to you. You are not as you look, but you are beautiful. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. I believe that if people hear this language, what he said, faith comes by hearing. So I'll begin to believe it if I have people around me that are supporting me that, but also that I'm saying it to myself, right? Say it until you believe it. The other part is that we want to begin to shift the conversation from stigma to dignity as well as wholeness. And so you got to know that that is a part of you, but that's not all of you.
I love that.
Yeah.
And there we have it for this segment of the Main Health Show. Jasmine, thank you so much for joining us here today, for sharing with us what it is you do, for getting some more insight on your transformational book, and for also sharing your opinions on alopecia. Thank you so much. Until next time, I'm your host, Stephanie Anderson. This is the Main Health Show. Until next time, take care and be blessed. Bye-bye.